Hi, I'm Lachlan.
And I'm Austin, and we're filmmakers and online creators from Brisbane.
All right, so basically when I was 11? Yeah, when I was 11, I just got into doing visual effects and stuff. Like, I've always been into like sci-fi movies and stuff, so the first one I did was like a split screen cloning effect. And I didn't have a YouTube account, so I would upload these on my dad's YouTube account that he had. So for the longest time, the account was called Stuart Mac, because my dad's name is Stuart. So I was just making these videos all throughout school, and I was getting Austin and my sister involved in them. And then Austin started to like get interested in the behind the scenes of it, and he started to like help with the filming and stuff. And it just kind of slowed. We were just sort of making these like all throughout school and not really stopping. And just continuing. And it wasn't always a massive thing that we did, but it just kind of sort of kept continuing. We kept coming back to making videos.
Yeah, I think it's just consistency. Like the very first visual effects shot I ever did was when I started getting into Doctor Who. So I made like my own little TARDIS or time vortex. That was the very first one I ever did. And then from there, just every lunchtime, I'd try to do a new visual effect shot, like whether it was flying or super speed or laser eyes or, you know, all that kind of stuff.
When we got into like secondary school, I did film and TV in school, and that's sort of around the time that I started thinking of like this could be a career. And so out of school, I went to Griffith Film School, did a Bachelor of Film and Screen Media there, and yeah, basically throughout this whole time we were just getting better and better at making these YouTube videos.
When I graduated from Bond, I didn't know if I wanted to be like a cinematographer or an editor or a director or anything. I ended up going into like post-production. So I did assistant editing. Lachlan worked in post in advertising.
I was an in-house editor at an ad agency, yeah.
Yeah, and around this time, this was early 2022, and our YouTube channel, like we hadn't really uploaded stuff in a while, and Lachlan was saying, we gotta jump onto TikTok. And I was like, nah.
Our videos were getting shorter and shorter anyway.
Yeah, we started making 1 minute videos.
We started, I guess, getting sick of like the amount of effort we were putting into it, and we wanted to keep putting out stuff, so the videos got shorter and shorter. And
we shot our very first TikTok right here, actually. We were just having a conversation upstairs, and it was around the time when Spider-Man No Way Home came out.
And TikTok was full of all these Spider-Man videos.
Yeah, and in particular, there's this community of visual effects creators, and they were all making Spider-Man videos, like Spider-Man themed visual effects videos. And we were like, this is so cool, we've got to do one. So it was like, it was a Monday arvo, and we were just like, okay, let's just make one. So we came downstairs, filmed it, and then uploaded it the next day. And it got like 1,000 views, which probably isn't too exciting now, but at the time we were like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, suddenly they went from getting a couple hundred views to a couple thousand views, and then a couple 100,000 views. Yeah.
We film it on Monday. The ideas are very simple, by the way, because they're like 10, 15 seconds, and you can usually just write them down in a day. So if we film it Monday, then we'll probably edit by Tuesday, and then do the VFX Wednesday, Thursday, hopefully upload by the Friday. That's the process that we like to maintain over all of our videos, but it changes from project to project. Well, I mean, a big factor is that we just left our full-time jobs, actually. So when we last saw you, which would have been 2 years ago, we were both working full-time. Lachlan worked in advertising and I worked in post. And that was tricky because we'd be, filming on the weekend and then editing after work throughout the week to upload the next weekend. So that was tricky.
Led to a lot of burnout as well.
Yeah, it did lead to a lot of burnout, but our process is certainly streamlined.
There's more delegation nowadays.
Totally. So
Austin will handle more the VFX elements. I'll handle like editing, so general post. There's more delegation, particularly in post-production, which is good because our videos often have a lot of post-production to them. Yeah, I think if we could do something like this generation's Back to the Future, like that's, something that has you know, laughs and, you know, and action and stuff, but also has like a real deep message to it. I really liked seeing Everything Everywhere All at Once. Like that, to me, I was like, wow, if Austin and I could do something like that, that would be amazing. Because it's got, you know, the cool like stunts and effects and stuff, but it's also got, you know, like a really deep meaning to it. And like the Daniels are, you know, also huge inspirations to us.
So we're making a web series this year, which has a budget, which is going to be crazy because Lachlan and I, everything that we do is just $0 pretty much. Except for like, I think we spent $50 on a shirt for one video.
We'll spend money on like props and stuff, but yeah, this is pretty cool that we're going to be making this web series, which is government funded, which is pretty cool, and like the biggest thing we've
by
done.
By far the biggest thing.
Yeah, we're really looking forward to that, and at the moment we're in development and we're writing the scripts for the episodes of this series.
The web series, a bit of a spiel. It's called The Worst That Could Happen, and it's a comedy horror anthology series. And every episode follows a different Gen Zer who comes face to face with supernatural forces that like exploit their social anxieties.
Sort of like a Gen Z Black Mirror.
Yeah, or Gen Z Twilight Zone is how we've pitched it. So really excited about it. Lachlan and I, we're going to be in one of the episodes, but we're going to have a whole bunch of new characters.
We definitely want to go all out with this thing.
Yeah. It's going to be like by far the biggest project that we've ever done. And people may not realize this, but our last YouTube video was a comedy horror. And one of the reasons why we wanted to do that is to sort of practice the tone. And our last few videos, we've done like completely CG Unreal Environment worlds. So we've been sort of like slowly like practicing our skills throughout the last couple of weeks and last couple of months to really get ready.
The recent film that has sort of affected me the most and that I've just loved the most recently is The Banshees of Inisherin. I knew like nothing about it going in. In fact, I had read the synopsis, which is it's about two guys in Ireland in the 20s and their friendship falls apart. And I was like, yeah, but what is it actually about? You know, like that can't be the movie. And then I just went into it and I hadn't seen any of Martin McDonagh's previous movies. Like I basically went in blind just knowing that. And like I almost cried. Like it's a very emotional film and it really puts you in that world, you know, in that setting. And yeah, it's just so powerful that it's really not about a lot, you know? It's a really subtle, sort of delicate film, but at the same time, it's like got a lot of sort of laugh out loud moments and a bit of black comedy.
Yeah, just recently I watched Two Hands, the Australian film. Yeah, Heath Ledger. By far my favorite Australian movie. I absolutely loved it. It's so 2000s the way it's directed, but I thought like the pacing and the structure was my favorite part. Like every single scene, like every single line of dialogue is always like setting up something that's gonna come back like 30 minutes later. Yeah, I really, really love that film.
I saw Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels just this year, and it was so good. And I love how maximalist it is. Like usually you hear from like film school lecturers, like you want to have like the minimum amount of characters. You just, you know, like you want to have like a simple story that's well told. You want like a central theme. You don't want to go too all out with like a ridiculous amount of characters and like an overcomplicated plot. But Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels has like, you know, over a dozen characters who are all important to the plot. And it's such a ridiculously complicated storyline. But it works so well, and it was like so refreshing to see a film that just had like, just has so much in it.
In prep for our web series that we're developing, Lachlan and I, we've been watching lots of like classic action adventure. So we've been revisiting, horror films. We've been revisiting like the original Indiana Jones films. We've been rewatching some of the Pirates of the Caribbean. And I've just been absolutely geeking out about the action scenes in particular.
They're really well done.
Like they're absolutely phenomenal. And they're so character focused. I'm yet to see like action scenes to top like Indiana Jones, you know, besides like Pirates of the Caribbean.
The key advice I have is like make stuff regularly and put it online. Online doesn't mean make a TikTok account and, you know, be an influencer, but it means like have it really accessible. When I was in film school, you know, everyone ends up making a short film, but a lot of those you can't really find online. And when I'd like talk to directors at Griffith or even at Bond or at, you know, QUT, which I know a couple of people at QUT, they're, you know, often they're a bit like, you know, if their film doesn't turn out perfectly or really how they want it to be, they won't put it online because I think they get a bit embarrassed. And I've been embarrassed about, you know, some of the early stuff that I put online, but I put it on there anyway. And I think, yeah, it's just a shame that a lot of these films that people make in film school, they don't really go beyond their assignment. They don't really use them to you know, push themselves as a filmmaker.
But from like, I guess like a practical tip, and this is especially true for visual effects, at least for me, I can't learn anything unless I'm working on a project.
Yeah.
So like when I was learning Unreal Engine the other month, I was learning it while making a video. Like I can't just, I'm not someone who can just practice something and soak things in. I need to actually be doing. So I think
you have to have a goal of, you know, I want to learn this program. I want to make this.
Yeah. And the good thing for us about TikTok is that like they're so easy to make because they're just 10, 15 seconds. So not necessarily saying that a young filmmaker has to start making TikToks, but if you can just like regularly and consistently make things and produce films and practice and really hone down on your craft, then I think that's fantastic. I think you just need to be regularly making films.
I want to see more genre films made in Australia.
I was going to say the same thing.
And I guess, look, Australia does kind of have a history of genre films with like the era of like Mad Max coming out and a lot of those like pulpy films and stuff. But nowadays there isn't really a lot of genre films coming. So I guess I want to see more ambition out of the Australian industry. Talk to Me was like a film that showed Australia that, you know, they can make films like that and be like super profitable and well received. So yeah, I just want to see more ambitious films, particularly genre films.
I was going to say the exact same thing. Like more genre films and more variety. I'd be really excited to watch. Yeah.
The Banshees of Inisherin is a very Irish movie, but it has reached an international audience. And like, I'm not Irish, but you know, that's one of my favorite movies. And I think it can be the same for Australian cinema.
Yeah. No, that's great. I mean, sweet. That's all I've got. You guys are all sweet. You want to say anything down the barrel of the web series?
No. It started to blink. Has it been blinking the whole time?